Okay, back at it again. Ace Attorney, 2 investigations, prosecutor's gambit. Do we think I can finally finish this case today? I don't know. There could be 11 million more parts. We'll see. Let's give it a go, though. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the test on the teapot. To be continued. Oh, did I pause it right before there? That would be funny. I arrive to believe that the case will end. Today we win, or maybe we not. I don't know. Captain A. Bubbles. Okay. April 2nd, 2:33 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. The test results have just come in, sir. The traces of ubiquium were found in the teapot. They were? Just like Mr. Edgeworth said.
Curse you! You better not think this means that you beat me.
You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. Hey, D-Man, Donnie. Every so often, my brain... I think it's just because before you, it was Bubbles and Captain, and that's what I call them. But I arrived at cried Eustace.
What? But first is best. Everyone knows it's better to be a winner than a loser.
That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. That's Mr. Demonitio.
What? But I...
Enough. Mr. Edgeworth, please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention.
But, Gavel! Oh, all right.
Why don't we take care of things here for now? In the meantime, you can perform a far more important task of going and checking on the victim.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. I'll be right back.
Excellent. We shall see you shortly then. Mr. Winner is annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Gavel, on the other hand. I could change my name if that'll help. No idea what to do. Why would you change your name? I can't change mine. It's my phylactery. Now. Captain, are you a lich? You have to tell us if you're a lich. Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why the traces of the ubiquium were found in your teapot. I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use? So you're telling the court you did not intentionally put ubiquium in the teapot? Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could even be used to make poison gas. You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I'd have thought you would be more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? The book that just happens to contain the instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning it is perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Bubblefish was a very organic evolution of blue. I plead the 5th and the 16th What's the 16th? Miss Bound, what was Mr. Edgeworth? Is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain the information on how to make a poison gas, yes. But the fact that I haven't seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that and the fact that he triggered it himself. Wouldn't it be point to being a suicide attempt? That's a stretch, lady. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes on incomes from whatever source derived without appointment among the several states and without regard of any census or enumeration. Of course. And, liches, if you were in fact one, are allowed to collect taxes from theirs. I don't know. This is a side note. If you were like a wizard and you made like those, what are they called? Simulacrums, and you had like 3 or 4 of them, would they need to pay taxes too? The answer should be no, but I feel like in a more corrupt society, the answer would be yes. Not people. No taxes. The government would find a way. Ace attorney. Hey. So, she's not willing to admit to anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten hold of the infesticide ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it. I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago. And that very evening I noticed my infesticide ultra had gone missing. Judy, surely you didn't. Delicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true. And I don't have any hard evidence that it was definitely Miss Bound who stole it.
Judes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you come clean, We all know you'd never hurt somebody for no reason, so...
Not you too! You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender?
Can you blame me? We got one wing disguised as another, a gas trap in one of the display cases. And you're the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did it, kiddo.
You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras, nor any security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person or other wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they'd have much of a problem. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. You need to be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in here. And I don't think she's joking. And actually, it seems that Mr. Gusto did, in fact, enter the gallery before it opened.
Sheesh. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day.
And what technique might that be?
So hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues instead.
A turnabout in thinking? So my father used this method as well. Oh no! Phoenix is like his father!
Alright, let's run this through the old Thinkatron. How was Jude's involved in what happened back then?
According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavor ice sculptures melted. And yet, his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Kay is like a thief version of Reddit expert with no real-world experience. That's pretty accurate. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Mr. Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now.
Heh, don't thank me. Thank your pops. Now take it away, Milesy. I'll grab the popcorn.
Miss Bound, you say that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct? I'm afraid so. I was so young and foolish, and it was a terrible accident. And yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no? What do you mean? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best. Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about the Zodiac Hall, and about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's work. The deep lore. I can still hear it, clear as day. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove I'm innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on the Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. Bum, bum, bum. Zodiac Hall. It took... Oh, wrong character. It took 18 years, but at long last, I was finally able to buy Samson's home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Halik pieces as I could from around the world. Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Still don't know if that video's out there or not. One second. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of a coughing fit, but I have resolved it. Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Bound. How wonderful it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it seems everything is entirely above board to me. Judge Gavel, it was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of a testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. Like 18 years, bought the home.
Hold it!
Okay. 18 years. You must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. I couldn't stand to lose what I had found. Oh, should I have said that? Samson, I did what I had to do. To see that home was waiting here for you. How did she make it look so easy?
I'll say, but I wouldn't expect any less from the trained triple threat performer.
If you could continue your testimony, Miss Bound, minus the singing, if you please.
Hold it!
I found it, but maybe it's for the best we leave it. You managed the gallery by yourself, Miss Bound? Yes, well, we only opened it today, so I haven't done much actual managing yet, but I have to keep the mansion going. Can't have it falling down around my ears. Samson could have come home any day after all. So she really got the house back for him.
I'm sorry, Judy. Wish I could have done more.
Oh, you've done plenty, Mr. Fender. If anyone should have done more, it's me. Even if the only thing I could do right now is keep this place safe for Samson. It's so nice when it's in easy girl voice, so Katie isn't afraid to get more dialogue. Also, hey Chris.
Hold it!
Paul Halik, that was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct? Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious as to what about some of the pieces in your collection. More specifically, how you were able to acquire the Tauros and Gemini sculptures. It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas of the Winter Wing based on the photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that. Because if I'm honest, it would have been something I dreamed to open a space dedicated to him.
Hold it!
Tell me more about this dream of yours, Miss Bound. Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course. A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of gaiety and candy all day long. That was the idea, anyway. And here I thought art was to be appreciated in silence, not accompanied by musical numbers. Alas, Mr. Tangaroa transgressed against the edicts of the goddess of justice. As such, that part of your dream may go permanently unfulfilled. No, Samson he's innocent. That awful prosecutor refused to listen. But it's true, he never hurt anybody. Come on, Verity, if anyone should know how corrupt that asshole was, it should be you. Whole scene with Eustace Gumshoe, Manfred von Karma, Oscar the Grouch, Tone Locke, and Sherrick Morrowind drummer voice 1. I sounds like an echelon that would kill me. Mr. Tanganroa gave a false confession in order to protect Miss Bound. The two of them really did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? See what a great replicas based on the photos of the sculptures he made.
Hold it!
These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you took yourself in, the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago? Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So, those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies? And I didn't even get to see them before they melted. No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. which means that Miss Bound is lying. I know! It's such an awful shame! And after we went to the trouble to recreate them, too. The sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas. They're the very ones from 18 years ago. I need to show her that I'm aware of that, or I'll never get to the truth. Okay, so apparently I'm aware of the fact that these are the original sculptures. So that implies to me, obviously, that the last statement was the one that I need to do it on, because that was the one that got added. It's always the one that gets added. Statues matching those of the victim 18 years ago. Is it enough that the picture says that they match? Or is this something from this document here? No, it's not from that. Tone lock, you have a tiny chance of knowing if you've seen and remember all the classic animated movie Ferngully. I see. Honestly, it doesn't ring any bells. I have seen Ferngully, but like probably like 20 plus years ago at this point. Well, let's just use the statue because it literally says that. No, okay. Figured, to be honest, that's part of the joke, really. Is it because we have a picture of the statue and it's not the same? Because this is not... Yeah, because it's not the twins, it's the... No, never mind. Sally, you might need to look over your evidence properly. The dangers of doing this weeks apart. Okay, fair enough. Lost 18 years ago, only rediscovered floating in the fountain. Is this why we know? Let me just make sure I'm not... Top of the platform is wet. I was able to create a replicas of the Winter Wing based on the photos of the sculptures he made. Okay, but I guess this thing? The sugar composition matches that of the sugar found in the pale blue liquid from Artie Frost's room 18 years ago. Okay, there we go. I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. Is it a good job? Not really, but... And those tests leave no room for wow. I can't talk right now, apparently. What you had on this display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago. Oh, I can probably help explain how they worked it out if you like, dear. It's the sugar, you see. You might think the sugar is sugar. Think sugar is sugar. But the composition is actually very unique. You could probably recreate the statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup, no chance. Thank you, Miss Scone. I don't recall asking her for help, but still. Look, you're playing on hard mode. Some allowances can be made. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they demelted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years. What? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time?
It's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough icebox.
Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned that much. Should I take it that you mean to admit you have hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing? How indeed. I don't yet know exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago. Bah, bah, bah. We just need a SWAT team made entirely of Wilford Brimley clones to kick down the door and secure this most saccharine monstrosity. He's a dirty but hard. You have to travel and wait for warrants in real time. Damn. What I did that day. The whole time before the judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go and change the camera's film cartridge for Samson. Before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later around, when your father arrived, I began to make rounds and serve tea to everyone present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto enter Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it happened. I hardly see how it could take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. Are you saying that there's a contradiction in our story, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when would she have had the opportunity to do so? If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. Damn, this being 2 cases in one is starting to mess with my brain a little. Not that, like, I'm confused on what the outcome's gonna be, but, like, the intricacies of getting there. Okay. Whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. Okay. I assume she took pictures of Halik's statues, and that's the implication we're trying to get here, but I don't know.
Hold it.
2 cases combined, and you've been doing this for what, a month now? Yeah. Like, I did a majority of this over a week and a half, I want to say, but, like, unfortunately, since I couldn't stream last week, I spent a little bit. And imagine without bonus holiday streams, it would have been at least 2 months. Yeah. And what were you doing while you were waiting? I was in my room practicing some dance routines. I was on a TV show called Bacon Bop with Samson, you see. Bacon Bop? What kind of show was that? It was a children's show. The two of them would sing and dance while they made a variety of sweets. Wow, it sounds awesome. I got spoiled with those bonus streams.
Hold up the phone, Miles. You used to watch it?
My father introduced me to it. I may have watched an episode or two. Considering it was the last case he worked on before everything happened, I'm not surprised. So Miss Bound passed the time before judging began by practicing her dance routines. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? Oh god, are they gonna ask me on everything? Oh no. No? This can't have been the moment she did it. Better listen carefully to. So, okay. I have to figure out when she went to move the sculptures. Maybe safely save. I'll save, but... Okay. Do we know how long the sculptures were for sure there? Did Samson say that he actually saw the sculptures? Or no, he hadn't gotten to them. Like his judging got interrupted. But they were there after they found the body, I believe. This might be in my actual, like... Okay. He did taste them as well. That's true. But he tasted them after they found the body, though. Because I remember him saying something about how, like, even though the body was found while he was judging, I want to say he was in Delicia's room. Regardless, it doesn't really matter. That he still ended up going around and going and trying the statues and being like, these taste weird. Well, no, he thought they tasted good, but they were weird. Delicia also tasted them and was like, the strings of it are really bad. Before I take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Frost's body. Yeah. Later, around when your father arrived, he began to make rounds to serve tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Frost's room. Okay, so if we assume that Gusto's the one that killed Frost... But Judy... They were specifically very salty because he couldn't taste salt at the time. Because, okay, I'm under the assumption that Gusto's the one who killed Frost. We know that Gusto and Frost were working together to get through the competition. And obviously at one point they were like, let's not work together anymore. So then... Gusto going into Frost's room is weird. After the fact. Okay, let me just press this. I need to hear what she says. When exactly did you see Mr. Gusto entering the victim's room? It was while your father and the others were investigating the room where the body was found.
Gusto said he went in there to get back a photo of him and Frost and their kids. Because
He didn't want anybody to suspect they'd been working together, right? Pretty sloppy of him to get spotted, though. Definitely not a great thief material. I think Mr. Gusto could live with that, to be honest. So the moment when Mr. Gusto snuck into Mr. Frost's room, was that the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? No. That's when they found that they were gone. So it must have been when she was serving tea. I'm gonna go with that. I think it's when she was serving tea. Because she had like the big cart, right? And I think we're implying that the cart is the reasoning behind everything. And so the tablecloth dyeing blue, at least according to what they're claiming color is in the portrait, is like it's staining the tablecloth probably from being under it or whatever. All right. Let's see if I'm right. I might be completely wrong. I don't know. But this is my current assumption. Because there's not really a point for her to take the sculptures before finding out that Frost was dead. So, let's press this. Just as you did today. Yes. I went around and offered everybody working in the investigation a cup of tea.
Present company included. I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with the little cart of yours.
Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time?
Oh yeah, Gregory was singing the praises of Judy's tea, and I think he mentioned the saucer was cold.
Yeah, I remember that now. His saucer was cold. Was this the moment that... Yes, this was the moment. Miss Pound, I believe this is when you stole the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under for everyone's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bound stole those ice sculptures, and she did it by hiding them here, under this cart. It seems obvious in hindsight. It's just getting to that logical conclusion was a bit much for me, apparently. I know this is an Edgeworth game, but at the same time, it feels like he's getting eclipsed by all the 20 of his sidekicks. Maybe it's just this mission. I mean, every investigations, he usually has at least 2 people hanging out with him, right? Like, in this case, it's Fender and Kay. In the previous one, it was Fender and Kay. The one before that was Kay and Gumshoe, you know, like... And I mean, Gumshoe still tends to show up, but, like, the problem is Gumshoe is the police, and he technically doesn't work for Edgeworth, even though Edgeworth has a say over his salary often. I don't know. Double trouble. My father and Fender had no idea that one of them, the sculptures, was a mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden sculpture in a glass case. Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would the case fit that size? How would a case of that size fit on a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately. Who said anything about a serving cart? What? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead? I'm suggesting that Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures. I mean, the only thing I have in here that transport things is the transport thing. Realistically, half the mission is his dad. Yeah. And this? The cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Miss Frost's room 18 years ago. And it would appear to be the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain room. Yeah, it's right over there. We originally bought it for use in the contest. And you're saying Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto the cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all one would need is to lay the case on its side, add a tablecloth, and it'd look exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Oh. Can it be?
Holy moly! Of course! That's why those saucers were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice. Jubes, how could you?
Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it. You admit you stole them from Mr. Frost's room. Oops. Yes, I do. I took those sculptures in their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I'd dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do it, and then slipped it in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everyone. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them myself before. There's a huge block of ice on display here. It must be incredibly heavy, though. Maybe not, what with it being hollow on the inside. If the Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them because they'd already melted, the zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. Ooh. Oh no, she's complimenting us. That means we're at the halfway point. Damn. When I had finished moving the two ice sculptures and two zodiac blocks out, I took two fresh empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original two had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in a glass case, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as well. At the start of the contest as stated in the contest rules, I can read, I promise. We were responsible for providing all the display materials, including the cases. Meaning, it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored ice works in progress. I figured if it melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today. As a guy who hates reading books, I can't judge. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite a confession. Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How'd you figure that? Oh my. I would have thought you might have at least known this much, given that we're at the crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statutes of limitations outlined in this book.
Statues of what?
Yes, it's really old case. We can't charge her for stealing them anymore because I think 18 years they said it's been. I'm sure the statute of limitations on statue theft is like not that long. I assume it varies from crime to crime. Simply put, Kay, prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Yeah, okay. They're even outlining that. Theft is 7 years. Murder is 15.
So it's different for every crime? Murder 15, theft 7 years? Ah!
Yes, Miss Bound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago. So it was too late to have her arrested for that crime.
I don't believe it!
Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself had pointed out, Miss Bound can no longer be prosecuted for her crime. Murder is only 15. Only being 15 is wild. 15 years. That's so long. It feels like something... You think that they would have made it longer because obviously technology has like advanced so much that older cases are at least possible to be solved because they can like go through evidence with a finer tooth and comb these days, but I don't know. The anime, it's anime. Most people don't live past 20. Usually murder doesn't have statute of limitations because it's fucking murder. Yeah. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth? I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. Find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be considerably more interest. Oh, are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed.
But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it?
I mean, she had a giant freezer for these statues. I assume he can go in there too. By hiding it in a very unusual way.
Oh, now this is interesting.
Are you telling me you know where the body had been for all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound had told us already. Let's just say that it wasn't just flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well. If you are confident in this claim, let us put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? Is he like the frozen one? Because that's wild. The one wrapped in the blanket? So does this have anything else? I didn't actually get to read this that much. Theft, 7 years from the day of the crime. Separate time frame applied with regards to claims for damages. 15 years from date of the crime. Statute suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. Oh, okay. 100%. 100% Gusto did it now. You know why? Because there's no way they do a case where I can't try a person for a murder. And the dude we know went to frickin' Zanfa to study to be a chef or whatever. I remember that being a thing. So because he fled to a foreign country, he is still within the statute of limitations. So we can get his ass, basically. The statute is suspended from the time any accomplice of indictment to the end of their trial. No, that's crazy. I know, you're right. I'm jumping to conclusions. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go with this because I think he's the body with the thing around it. A photograph of Mr. Frost's work. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in the photograph is Mr. Frost's body? The victim's body is hiding right here.
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture. Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. Judy, that's fucked up, okay? I'm just saying. I'm sure your reasoning has something to do with, like, getting gusto, but come on. You kept the dude's body for 18 years so that you could enact, I don't know, whatever this plan is that you've enacted now. That has to be some kind of crime, right? What? Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim. That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. And what piece of evidence might that be? The court demands you present what was used to conceal the body.
Take that!
Oh, one of the cloths from the autumn wing. Look, show business makes motherfuckers crazy. Very pull-free lover shenanigans. Ice instead of taxidermy. Yes, and when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone?
Well, yes, dear. But you can't really make it look just about anything, really. Even blazing fire. And the right shades of blue, in fact, would make it look like ice, yes? Exactly like it, in fact. Is it not a case that a certain special device is needed to generate these colors, though? If you would care to take another look at the photograph of the winter wing, Your Honor. You'll notice there's a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. Yep. That's one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case, which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was, in fact, a statue carved from ice. No. This can't be. Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the winter wing...
Yes, we were standing right in front of the body. That's fucked up. But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found in there if the body was supposed to be in the winter wing disguised as a sculpture? Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we'd found it as is. Miss Bound needed it to remove Mr. Frost from the winter wing in order to throw us off the scent. High school lit classes was ages ago. No Puffer Lover was this hair strangulation. Which one was about the lady with the dude's preserved body? I can't say that it's ringing a bell for me.
I had to read a lot of world lit in my high school English, so most of my quote-unquote classic literature stuff was like Ivan Denisovich and Black Rain and a bunch of plays like, you know, Hamlet and stuff.
Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart, the same cart that had proved to be useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way. Which is why only the cloth appeared at first, the cloth that Miss Scone discovered. And then the body followed afterwards, once it had been thawed enough.
We've got Midsummer Night's Dream. I did that one in grade 9. I love Hamlet still. Basic bitch, but I don't care. I mean, Hamlet's good stuff. Midsummer Night's Dream. I did Midsummer Night's Dream in grade 9. I did Romeo and Juliet in grade 10. I did Hamlet in grade 11. And I didn't do Shakespeare for 12, but I know a lot of the other classes did Othello. Hamlet's pretty classic. Yeah.
It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusation without proof, don't you think? What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her when she was moving the body?
As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in this piece of evidence was provided, which shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation?
Of course, I have a piece of evidence, a very compelling proof right here.
Then please, present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted to claim?
Is this where I used the picture Larry drew because she had the blue, yeah. Present?
Take that.
Yeah! Midsummer Night's Dream was what we did in middle school instead of Romeo and Juliet. As those are kind of baby Shakespeare's. The Crucible was fun. Me and a buddy really hammed it up when we took turns reading it for the class. Crucible almost felt built for hamming it up, especially compared to the Scarlet Letter. I never did the Crucible or the Scarlet Letter. I know of them, of course. We did like Death of the Salesman. That was one. Stella! What else did we do for plays? It was Mammoth Fest in our town, so we did some Mammoth plays, if you're familiar with like Glengarry Glen Ross and stuff like that. Not relevant to this Ace Attorney, but Waiting for Godot, a classic. Lol, yes.
More drawings.
David Mamet. Yeah. I actually had to do some Mamet in my drama class as well. Because of Mammoth Fest. Because Mammoth Fest is like they were performing all his stuff. And so we did a bunch of like shorts that he wrote. And I remember I did one where I was basically screaming at a doctor that he was fucking up my diagnosis. And it was like the most I'd ever sworn in my high school years because I just didn't swear during high school years. That has changed, obviously. But I used to be the girl that never swore. So it was really funny when I had to do a scene where I had to swear like every like 3 or 4 lines because that's just how Mamet writes his plays sometimes. I can't remember if I ever elaborated on the Crucible stuff. I feel such innocence. He used to be the girl that didn't swear. Then you played Fire Emblem for the first time.
me. Yes, but Mr. Butts drew his sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart that we see here. Miss Bounds serving cart. What about it? Serving cart. Why did I say it like that? Whatever. Heh. You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn. What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see in the picture is me delivering the chocolates to everyone. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he assured me that it couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light... This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of a tablecloth that Mr. Bound doesn't seem to own. But the cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding underneath. But the shape of the cloth is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body.
I remember my theater teacher took me to audition for a bunch of colleges for scholarships, and I did a couple filthy ones. Didn't realize till afterwards a couple of the colleges were Christian universities. Beautiful.
Not that the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those on a lift cart, and it easily passed the muster as a regular serving cart. Wouldn't you agree? Goddess of justice! Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago. I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butts' artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more, which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates. My chocolates? The one that I was handing out? And as we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolate you gave us came from your pocket.
Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty, though.
Why did you suddenly feel the need to put chocolates in your pocket, Mr. Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why. 1 moment, please.
And my biggest regret was not going to Texas Women's University. I actually used to be a likable bastard. So it's a little grim. When we were going through the crucible, our teacher would always emphasize it was Abigail who led John astray, like, to such a strong degree. Interesting. There were a lot of rumors that this teacher was involved with a student. Oh. Okay, cool. It's always the English teachers, yo. Although my English teacher, the only thing that was quote unquote like sus about him is that we knew that he smoked a lot of pot. But like, what English teacher doesn't, you know? All right.
1 moment, please. You have to explain what Miss Bound did with the chocolates in the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, if stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of, I doubt Miss Bound had time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us. Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? In the fountain, not in this room, on Miss Bound's person.
If I had a penny, I hear that situation, Bubs. I have 2 pennies. Happened at my high school too. Oof. It's don't know. It's not in this room. I believe it's the table is not in this room.
On this room. Could you be more specific, perhaps?
No, not yet.
I see. So you were saying that it's somewhere out there on the wider world. This sounds dangerously like a desperate bluff to me.
The worst thing my English teacher ever did was accidentally taping over her Beowulf documentary with Skinamax. You should have seen her across the room to bodily block the entire screen. Oh, that's rough. Oh, this part is devious because they don't have Judy on the screen, so 1/3 of the options you can't even double check. Ah. Right, she did do that at one point.
Miss Bound has a tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact. In plain view? No, surely you don't mean. Miss Bound, it's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? Given that the Zodiac blocks weren't kept in a glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we would need to do to confirm my theory is to test the cloth for trace amounts of sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicia's Infesticide Ultra and moved to Mr. Frost's body.
Aww, she's so sad.
It was me. It was all me. Delicia, I'm so sorry. Last week I went into your bag and I took it. And then I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do it himself. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Judy! Gosh.
But Judes, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson?
We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but...
Why do it this way, though? It's not like you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along. And ever since the day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit of the IS-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I actually had done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures.
Okay, wait. So she didn't put the body in the sculpture. So wait, okay, so Judy finds the body in the chocolate sculpture that Samson made. Screams, police come, they investigate, they put a chalk outline around the body. They go to investigate the other rooms. They come back, the body's missing. So in that time, somebody took the body and put it in the sculpture, and then Judy took it while she was serving tea. That is such a, like, specific window of time. I say someone. I'm 90% certain it's Gusto, but regardless. All right.
Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody. Never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body. And Samson was found guilty.
I guess that makes it a little better what she did, because she didn't intentionally hide his body, but it's still fucked up, you know? How dare you question the logic, nervous tap dancing, and testify.
After all he'd done for me, he was my family, the only family I ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and
Judes.
After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today, because it was the only way I could think to make things right. It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has been for Mr. Tanganroa's sake. Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not make a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind.
If she's trying to prove that Mr. Tanganroa is innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal must be to confess to her crime, find the true killer, ensure the body was found. Find the true killer. Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit?
I mean, of course she was. We've already established everything she was doing was for him, so.
Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tanganroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you would expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework.
Well, if there was any question who it was before, it's 100% clear now.
So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah?
Exactly, but Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting the vital evidence at risk?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that why the autumn wing was all wintry wingy.
I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. No.
But that would mean the real killer was...
Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusations you are clearly about to make? Miss Bound is set for a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found them caught in the trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse someone without evidence is not to be done lightly, so should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? Dun dun dun.
Yes, I propose the killer was Prosecutor Witter. Dill's right. That's the answer. Do I not have evidence that he did it? Probably not. Let's just do it. If it's the wrong answer, then whatever. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Judge Cavil, I am prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who is to blame for the IS-7 incident. It's Gusto. Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack, is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident. Look, what would Edward's boyfriend do? The answer is fuck it, we ball. Gusty!
Mr. Gusto.
Mr. Bound, as we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure the real culprit, and you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far? You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth, just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right. Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words. Of course, I have nothing to hide anymore, so I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set the trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When the opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of various rooms, and found that the autumn wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me. And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Gusto was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan.
Judes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place.
Judy.
18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it happened to it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again.
I mean, very fair.
So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery in front of as many witnesses as possible.
I'm sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down.
Fender, this can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name. The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. With that accusation, I'm off. Good luck with your case. All right, Donnie, have a good one. And yet, it had only set us down the path towards an even more shocking end. To be continued. Oh my god, there's still one more part.
All right. The committee's view. Judy's crimes were from fear of legal corruption and police incompetence. I think she should be fully excused. Those are both rampant. Miss Bound, are you feeling a little calmer now? Okay, actually, if I'm being kind to myself, my voice feels fine, but I am going to take like just a few minutes just to rest my vocal cords before I continue. Because I assume I'm going to be doing other voices that I won't be as kind. Okay. I was about to be mad. I've just started taking ornaments off my tree. Don't deprive me of the background for that. It's fair. Your tree has a lot of ornaments. I'd be curious what the count is these days. It always looks pretty loaded. Okay, let's try to get as far as we can. Maybe we can finish tonight. I don't know. Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law. Yes, I understand. Nevertheless, I understand that what you did in order to prove Mr. Tangenroa's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to reinvestigate the case. Come on, Verity, be cool! There's nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place during the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there is nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection!
The official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gavel. Especially since those are the prosecutor, who would think nothing of twisting the facts. Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked such a prosecutor? Yes, I am. That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked. Seeing as Mr. Frost was only just found just now. That's very true. You have a corpsicle. Yeah, exactly. There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, that's real rude. So rude of you. How so exactly? By continuing defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs, that's how. Perhaps it is time you understand how the committee sees this case. The committee's views. The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von falsified the Frost's autopsy report. That should be more than enough to reopen this case, but okay. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangeroa convicted as accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusto today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder. What? Based on what exactly? And this is how the committee sees things, is it? It is. As always, I act solely in service of the law and order. You have a corpsicle. The committee is a convocation of clowns. What Captain said. It sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in the service of the committee in covering up the truth. Burn! And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangenroa or Miss Bound. Cool. Even still, I mean, that is true. The real culprit is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill. That isn't what her plan was, though. Well,
Hold it!
why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusto for the murder? No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked. Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning? Unfortunately, Mr. Gusto remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains his consciousness. In other words, there is little we can do for now. On the contrary, there is plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Then allow me to spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. No, what? All the evidence you need. In fact, the IS-7 incident
We have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have a source of the 2 chemicals and Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we have enough evidence. So see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee for a formal hearing.
What? Like, they're always like, oh man, you're in trouble. You made an accusation without proof. And then they're like, we're going to make accusations without proof too. And I'm like... Anyway, I mean, technically Judy did do the current crime. That's kind of what she's getting at, but still.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Don't worry, Miles Sereno. If nothing else, you always got more than welcome at Edgeworth & Co.
It's like, where has any of this been for the past 4 games of prosecutor fuckery? I know, right? Like, and she even implied that the committee has been around since the Von Karma days, and they were just cool with him doing whatever shit he did. So, and now when one of them is trying to do the right thing, yep, that's not what prosecutors do, Chris. They're supposed to be the antagonists of the games. But Edgeworth is trying to be the protagonist, and they don't like it, so now they're fucking him up.
Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate if we could stay focused on the matter at hand. Of course. Now, where was I? We've never done some investigate either case any further.
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there is no loose ends left to investigate? None at all? All of the evidence has been examined at length, and there is nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant, Miss Judy Your Honor, I am certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now, assuming there is really anything left, that is. Isn't over yet by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to, and it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gavel. Okay, so we have something that we need to examine further. Obviously, on the very last... I hate that I have to do it. Okay, wait. I forget I can do that. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we need to examine something further, Judge Judy. This part? The frame fingerprints? You know what? I'm just gonna go with it. Let's see. Let's see. Is it right? No. It sure isn't. I'm like, well, we don't have an answer to that yet, but... Well, that blew up in my face. Okay, it's not obviously not my badge. It's not the actual file. It's not the pamphlet. It's not gonna be the photos. Not the blowtorch or any of the. It's not none of these. These are not what need to be done. None of those. This just shows it's the murder weapon. That's not. We got the family photo. I got the... No. That's already been done.
Is it legitimately just, like, why this thing tastes bad? Sugar statute of limitations book. Okay, let's go with this. Oh, okay, apparently that is the correct answer. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm like, I guess because it tastes salty is the only thing left. I'm afraid there's one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? Why it's the correct answer is annoying, though. Is it? What is it? The test results carried out of the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the winter wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? And until the question is answered, I hardly think you can claim that we have all the evidence. Because there's blood in it? And, oh, okay, Edgeworth, this is... Sure, whatever. Edgeworth is kind of stretching for stuff here, but in fairness, so is Verity. Get technicality, bitch. There's blood in the Gemini case. Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Eustace sucks. Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning on telling Mr. Winner about it myself, of course. You kept this to yourself until now, despite not having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear about this, what you have done here today. As ever, my interests are in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace.
Guess who's back, losers? And with good news, too. Guess who's back? Back again. It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto's alive. Gusto.
He made it.
You're the ones who found me. Yep, long time no see, Gusto. You're the attorney's assistant. You've grown, and you have an assistant of your own now.
Assistant? No, I'm...
He hasn't gotten the gig yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son.
Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service?
Ugh. Fates move in mysterious ways. I am in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here thanks to you.
Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, we wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago.
What are you talking about? We figured out quite a bit while you were out cold, including the fact that you're probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true?
Miss Bowen set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with a poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then. Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent.
Oh, it's not that. Gusto here is a fan of the old meditation. You know, and all that jazz. Oops.
Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent. Except there's no sleeping involved in meditation, Kay.
Hey, Gusto pal, how about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when?
I was caught in a girl's trap, so I must be the killer. Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here.
Indeed you are, Mr. Gusto, and there is no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured that they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed.
At least somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Gusto. I will assist you in any way you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth?
Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'll be happy to.
So, this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record. I only believe it is in the infallible judgment of the goddess of justice.
Okay. Something tells me that we're going to be defending Verity. I'm going to go with the final case. Or, yeah, I'm going to go with Verity is going to somehow be accused of a crime, and then we're going to have to defend her. I don't know how that would work out, because then who would our antagonist be? Or antagonist is the wrong word, but like, you know what I mean. Who's the person we're going to be arguing against? But we just want to love Verity and be loved, and she won't let it happen. I believe in catching murderers. And so as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you. We shall see about that. What do you advise, Judge Gavel?
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case lid. Would you be so kind as to share with us why?
Understood. I came to see Frost's sculpture, simple as that. I made a mistake with the opening times and arrived a half an hour early.
Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at around that time? I had left to maintain the entrance unguarded, and I left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked, just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the galleries opened. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight, all except for the autumn wing, that is.
I see.
She did all that to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went. Sneaking into a building is pretty suspicious, however you slice it. Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying. The courtroom? You know that this is an art gallery, right? Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case.
I wanted to see Frost's work up close. So I went to the Gemini, I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue. And I saw that the lid was frozen tight, so I grabbed the blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it.
That's not sus at all.
When I finally got it open, the gas came pouring out.
Fascinating. His is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of. Yeah, that everything sounds like a lie kind. I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it. Come on, there must be something.
It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
She turned the sprinklers on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, old pal.
So you believe the self-confessed criminal? Miss Bound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer.
You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me, but I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise.
Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Gusto fell victim to the poison gas. That much was indisputable. Yet, no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do.
You're right. We may not have the evidence, but we have plenty of intel. If Gusto killed Frost, he must have had a reason.
He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it?
If he did, it has to be. If he did, he has one. Not many people commit murder just for fun. In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about the probable motive, too, remember?
How can you possibly say that with any certainty, if their relationship had broken down for some reason? Gusto helped Frost in the final, but the favor wasn't returned. Just time. Engage big brain mode, Edgeworth. Yes, that could very well have been the motive behind this murder.
Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Gusto back then, but we can now. If we can put those pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking at might just emerge.
Yes, I think you might be right. I need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident, especially the questions that never got answered. And the fingerprints. Were you the one wearing the gloves? Miss Scone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers. But what if they were Mr. Gusto's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the ultimate cookbook for himself.
So he asked me to go and put a new cartridge in. He seemed to think that there should have been more shots left than there were. In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected. Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. We must logic our way there. Gusto insists he had no reason to kill Artie Frost, but Gusto helped Frost in the finales, but the favor wasn't returned. So, murder! Mr. Gusto, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not? Huh? So you know about my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? What can I say? I had still a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner. But you only collaborated up through the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we could do. Show that we were better than Tanganroa. Then why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the finale? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement you made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the finale. It's the final. I keep saying finale for some reason. Mr. Frost's entry was carved from flavored ice. Ice when needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have been prepared by Mr. Gusto. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusto told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the finale. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusto in return? Oh, break Von Karma off the screen, please. I could hardly be expected to read minds of the dead. Thank you. So why did Mr. Frost help you in return, I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason. And that... It's always really funny when they double up a word, but they, it needs to be like that. That became the basis of your motive for murder.
That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kind of hard to imagine, but okay.
Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled up to Tangenroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangenroa was in there working on the chocolate pieces, could I? So you see, it can't have been me.
I wouldn't be so sure. There must have been a window of time when Mr. Tangenroa wasn't in his room, and if I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusto had an opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. Alright, well... So, Gusto's probably took the camera and took pictures, I'm assuming? Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal the secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Gusto did just that? What if he used Mr. Tangenroa's camera to photograph the book?
It'd be a perfect crime. So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops.
Sneaky snapshot at 20, huh? That could work.
The only question is, when would he have done it?
Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Alicia say that Gusto and Frost had missed out on a little tea party they had? Ah.
Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Okay, I'm not gonna, for the sake of my voice, I'm just gonna read this normal. Then after the contest began, nobody saw hide or hair of Frost after he secluded himself in the room. And the only person capable of entering his locked room was Tangenroa, possessing as he did the only key. Miss Scone, were Mr. Tangenroa's works the only ones you sampled? But my immersion, you right.
No, dear, I couldn't help myself. When I finished my afternoon tea, I tipped over to Chillywink's room for a little taste, too.
It's ruined. Mr. Frost had kept himself inside the room after the contest had started, but he was gone by the time Mr. Scone had snuck into the sample his work, meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of the afternoon tea. Boop, boop, boop. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of the afternoon tea, making tea time the only window in which Mr. Gusto could have killed him. Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusto's story now, Mr. Edgeworth? Heh. Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are starting to finally become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last. Do you mean to say that you have uncovered new evidence? Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusto to open up to us about it instead.
Oh, is it a mind game time?
Oh no, it's chess time.
Oh, is it mind game time again?
It is. Mr. Gusto, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you. What is it? You have chosen to make your entry for the final on your own. I told you I wanted to test myself, to prove that it was the best in the world. If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen the cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusto, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? Oh, called out. Oh, God. 18 years ago, Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together? And why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow. Oh god, he's got 4 chess pieces too. Mr. Gusto seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Frost. By my hand, now is time to dig to the truth that was buried all those years ago.
Mind chess, commence!
Why did you collaborate with Frost? Mr. Gusto, what inspired you to collaborate with Frost?
We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering the contest, so we decided to sign up together.
Your decisions to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skill.
Damn you, Mind Chess. But nah, it's not the case ruining, just annoying. Pretty much.
You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all.
Bide.
Professor Sutton and mine were in the same grade school, so we got along pretty well too.
Oh, so you were just two friends who happened to try for the title of world's greatest confectioner.
Okay, wake the fuck up, please. I'm gonna guess.
Pretending to be asleep when it's going gets tough. Won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was sculptor, Mr. Gusto. I doubt he cared much about winning the title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, okay. One down.
Fine. It was me. I wanted the title. Frost was the only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook.
I see. And since you objectively dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. But then something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps. If so, I want to know why.
Mr. Prosecutor, I'm still quite unwell after my brush with death. Pushed me too hard. And I'll be on my way back to the medical room.
Oh my god, just tell us the truth!
No, wait!
Then you'd better wrap this up quickly. I'm already dangerously low on patience.
Mr. Gusto is trying to desperately make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. Okay. There's no time to lose. I need to pick the right line of questioning and fast.
Did you want more than just a title? I don't think Bacon Bob had anything to do with it.
You two had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure that the title of World's Greatest Confectioner even counts for that much.
Now you're insulting my way of the confectioner. My only goal was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me.
Bide.
Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then, but you should see me now.
Oh, so you've improved.
Bet I have. I didn't have to do all that training in Zen Fa for nothing.
Okay, you're still grumpy, so...
I looked up Tengen Roy, spent hours poring over the designs of his world. Spent work. Even used to watch a show with my son.
Sounds to me like Mr. Tengenroa's work was especially influential to your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might have even become the best someday.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the book wasn't a recipe book.
Book was a real treasure, no doubt about it. Any confectioner would have wanted it.
No, they wouldn't. Unless they want to kill someone. So you're interested in the book too.
You claim your only goal was to win the title. Yet you also seem to have interest in the book, the contest's prize, the ultimate cookbook.
Nah.
The greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner.
Can't say it has absolutely no interest in it. And even if I did, what exactly is so wrong with that?
Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contains recipes from medicines and not desserts. And everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. I can't let him slip away from my grasp now. I just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Let's find out why he wanted the cookbook.
Did you need it to help you make sweets? So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you make your own creations.
What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold.
You could have made a lot of money if you sold it.
I don't know much about what was actually in there, but it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that.
You know more than you're letting on.
Come on, Mr. Gusto.
I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim.
They told us a little about it at the start of the contest.
Then you know what kind of recipes are actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all.
I see you did your homework. Fine. So you know what's really in there. The Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook to give it a proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas, a way to synthesize the medicines nobody's ever heard of.
So he did know that the cookbook was actually contained recipes for medicine. This could be an important clue. Oh, did you know what it was worth then? Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? It was a collection of Tang and Rose recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it.
Time to deploy my clue. Except you knew that's not what was really in there. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zenfa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You have already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes and medicines. Oh, just break already. Thereby making your interest in the gastronomical but pharmaceutical in nature. Or not that, but gastronomical. Okay. So they... Right, because the weird flavors, so he needed the medicine. But wouldn't that have come up sooner in a contest where they were judging his sweets taste? Whatever. Your confection... I guess because Samson also couldn't judge it correctly and he was the judge, it didn't matter. You're the confectioner, Mr. Gusto. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines. He wasn't working alone. I mean, that's true. Which suggests that your interests may have been personal. I underestimated you.
Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick.
Ah, okay. I was wondering when they were going to bring up these sons again, so...
He was. Tell me more.
That's none of your business. I've told you all as much as you need to know.
He looks rattled, but I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost gotten to the bottom of this, but I can feel it just a little more.
Tell me about your son.
Tell me a little more about your son.
He was my pride and joy, the biggest fan.
And you entered the contest in order to help him.
Clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. I would have done any... I mean, he has a lot of, like, adopted children.
Well, he has one. Phoenix has a lot of adopted children, though, so they're kind of his, too.
I would have done anything to help him. Anything.
Bide my time?
He would have come to see me here at the contest venue, too. Right up through the semi-final.
Really? He didn't get in the way of your work? If you were trying to beat Samson, Tang, and Roa, surely you didn't have time to look after a child.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations.
So he wasn't too sick to join you?
You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusto, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest.
Okay, so yeah, his son is the one that can't taste sweets properly then.
It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening anyway.
This feels like it could be an important clue!
Which means the book was needed, right?
So you needed a cookbook to cure your son.
Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication he needed anywhere. But back then, the book was our only hope. Which is why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give it my all to work.
And what about Mr. Tanganroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a glance at it.
What makes you think I had the energy to care about what the others had made?
But you cared about his work.
I think you've made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tanganroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up the chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries.
Plenty of chances to go through the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. But each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something.
Nothing Mr. Gusto tasted had any flavor. That seems like it could have been an important clue.
Wait. So what is your son's condition? I'm confused. Is he the one with the condition, or is his son the one with the condition? Is he lying?
Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffers from?
You really cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. It isn't enough that he was seriously ill. What more do you want to force me to tell you?
It's time to deploy my clue.
It wasn't life-threatening.
You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details?
May not have been life-threatening, but that doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering.
I see. That must have been very hard on both of you.
Of course it was. That's why I did everything I could to find the cure. We're desperate. He couldn't taste anything, not even his favorite desserts.
Did he have a taste disorder? Was he overweight? Okay.
As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains a recipe for a very particular medication. One that Mr. Tanganroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder.
So he had it too.
Two, you say? So your son has taste disorder then, am I correct?
How did I let that slip?
You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case?
Of course it was. What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm not sure that's true based on everything you've told me. Time to deploy my clue. You were sick yourself, weren't you?
Yeah, you were. The taste disorders are difficult to live with.
It isn't easy not to being able to enjoy your food. You should know, after all, you just told me that you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor, and those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from taste disorder.
Oh my god, just break already, Peace. How many times have I gotta hit you?
A confectioner with no sense of taste. Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking to cure, Mr. Gusto?
I've had enough of your speculations. I managed to just fine in the contest. Made all my own entries, no problem.
But weren't you working with Mr. Frost? The thing we've established this whole time. Okay, are we finally smashing that piece?
Hey, sorry, I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now.
Finally. Yeah. Game, let it end. Game, set, match.
You would have us believe that you are the man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All so you could cure your own taste disorder.
Called out.
You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I'd kept it hidden for so long, 18 years, and nobody knew.
Sadly, you can't lie. You can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusto and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook. For the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusto's disorder and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate.
Yeah, it is. Take that, bitch. And it healed all the points I used earlier.
I'll admit, you're good. I never told anybody any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed Ageousia?
What's Ageousia?
It's a taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. Confectioner's worst nightmare.
Mr. Fender, is this what Mr. Tanganroa has had as well?
No, big man had what was called a dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all.
So he suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't a way to cure it on the market.
Which is why you needed Mr. Tanganroa's cookbook. Do you admit now that it was the real reason you entered the contest? It was only one reason. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done. I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win.
Oh, so you went into the final thinking you stood a chance of winning?
Of course.
What was it that Mr. Fender said about what Mr. Tanganroa thought of Mr. Gusto's creations?
Mr. Gusto's creations were perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up until through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts.
We were told that your entry for the final was far from prize-winning taste sensation you describe. What happened, Mr. Gusto? What went wrong that day?
Fine. You want me to talk, I'll talk, but you're not going to like what I have to say. Oh, we're doing a testimony. My entry for the final. Frost and I were working together right up through the semi-final. I handled the flavor and he did the design. But I wanted to face Tanganroa in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skill. So I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. If it didn't taste good in the final, that's on me. What can I say? I lacked training. You lacked training? That's all there is to it. Happy now? There doesn't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony.
Yep, not that I thought there'd be an easy way to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years, after all. Why don't you try pushing him a little bit, Miss Malzarino? See if you can shake something loose.
I think I just might have to, Fender.
Okay. Did the semi-final. I handled the flavor. He did the designing.
Hold it!
Frost was in charge of designing the work you both submitted, while you handled the taste.
Yeah, he was sculptor, craftsman. His sense of design and was second to none. But he was clueless about confectionery, which is where I came in. We did what the other couldn't.
Heh, and the boy, did you not have an eye for aesthetics, not even for the simple stuff. Ugh.
How do you like me now?
Huh, the national symbol of Zenfa.
Oh yeah, it's a phoenix. That's awesome.
I say, pretty different from the stuff you were pumping out 18 years ago.
Behold the fruits of my training. I've dedicated my whole life to the craft. But back then, we both needed each other's help, so we joined hands till the final. Wanted to face Tanganroa, final on my own, no help, just me and my skill.
Hold it!
You were serious about winning the title then?
Of course, the art of confectionery is my life. Why wouldn't I wanted the crown to the greatest? But I still had a lot to learn back then. Guess it's no surprise that my work wasn't up to scratch.
But the title wasn't the only thing you wanted. There was a cookbook, too. And you wanted the book even more than you wanted the title. Isn't that right, Mr. Gusto?
Overruled.
Mr. Edgeworth, you are badgering the witness who is still suffering from the effects of today's attack. I cannot allow this harassment to continue.
I understand, Your Honor, that...
Ignore him, Gusto. You need not answer that vile prosecutor's question. But please, do continue your testimony in your own time.
Thanks, Verity.
Hold it.
So you're saying Mr. Frost didn't help you at all? But he helped you up until then, correct? It's a bit of strange for him to stop so late in the contest, no?
Strange or not, it's the truth. Could it be that he had his reasons too? I wouldn't know.
If he's lying, it's gonna be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Not unless the gizmo of yours is a built-in lie detector, Kay.
If it did, I'd have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now.
Don't worry, Mr. Fender. I can tell when he's lying. No doohickey assistance required. We don't need a magnetoma or whatever. Please, Mr. Gusto, continue in testimony. Okay, well...
Hold it.
And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavor. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day?
No, nothing like that. I was told I had a taste disorder. I told you I had a taste disorder. My senses of taste failed me. It was simple as that.
But Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on its flavor. Your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth. Then perhaps we should ask him about something else.
Let's ask about the semifinal.
Did something change between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto?
Nothing really. The only difference between the semifinal and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me. That's not true, though. His son left. That's what it is. Because his son tasted all the things, and then that's why it got fucked up. Photo of Frost's son, they visited up until the semifinals. Okay.
I can think of one significant difference between the semifinal and the final, Mr. Gusto. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semifinal.
He was. What of it?
What indeed? He was here with you until the semifinal, until he suddenly wasn't for the finale. And just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavor to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted to see him hard at work, to show him that I was trying my best for us. Who knows, maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds.
He talks a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad to me.
Indeed. Thankfully, we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Gusto's prided himself on the flavor of his creations, but then he lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards even after such a devastating loss, unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it? You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. But why not try answering yourself for a change? What was the elementary school kid doing here other than supporting his father? He was tasting your creations.
Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusto.
He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no?
What are you implying?
You've already told us that you were suffering from taste disorder.
I admit, you're good. I never told anybody about this, but you figured it out anyway. It's true, 18 years ago I developed agenesia.
Yeah, that just happened, guys.
No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good.
And then they didn't.
Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work.
Dang, now it all makes sense. Frost stuff tasted good because it was really was finished the day before when the kid was still here. You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. But you seriously think I'd trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then.
Did you now?
My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation on the hands of a child? This is more speculation, that is all.
In that case, I ask you to speak with your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can collaborate.
Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern.
Oh, what?
As soon as I got a sense of my taste back, I went straight to Zenfar to start my training, and cut off all ties with the kid for good.
Damn, the cold. What? You abandoned your own child?
And that ain't half of it. No one knows where he is, even now. The cops have looked all over for him, but no dice. So, still think you could prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? There again. I got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son?
Dude. So what is statute of limitations on child support payments? Yeah, really. Like, I guess by now, regardless of the age of the son, he's an adult, but...
Silence in the court. While Mr. Gusto's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that.
I mean, it can.
Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now. Proof for otherwise. Ugh.
Mr. Edgeworth, we had to do something. If we don't, the truth might be lost forever.
Where are you, Detective Gumshoe?
Come on, Gumshoe! Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be. Get tested right away. Sir, please do, detective. Father should be better. Phoenix bursts through the walls and starts doing a combo of this man. Which fighting game is it that Phoenix Wright is a fighter in? Tatsunoko versus Capcom or something like that? I think it's something like that.
That's the last piece of the puzzle. I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is.
Hey, Miles, sorry to cut you open your mind palace this time, but I was pondering something myself. My friend Gusto didn't come here to check up on the body, did he?
You mean because he tried to open the case?
Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that?
We might. If Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence. That's quite enough of idle chatter defense. Now, if you...
Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Sorry to keep you waiting.
Speak of the devil.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I don't know if he's in Tatsunoko, though. Part of why it's such a good joke, it's like a super significant one. Marvel versus Capcom 3. I have this vivid memory of him being in Tatsunoko. Is that it? Did I make that up? Tatsunoko? I don't even know what that actually is. My brain says that's real, though. Take your test results, detective.
Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me.
He's also an assist in Project X Zone. Tatsunoko versus Capcom is real. Okay, I didn't make it up at least. Detective, please, court is in session. Now then, I am right to assume that you are bringing in us evidence Mr. Edgeworth is speaking of.
What? Hey, no fear. Why didn't nobody tell me about any of this?
It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out.
What? Why is everyone always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here.
Mr. Winner, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can we at least hear what the detective has to say?
Well, all right.
So, Detective Gumshoe, what did the test have to tell us?
You're not gonna believe this, but the owner of the blood that we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Caramel Gusto, the victim of the poisonous gas attack.
What are you talking about? Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, looks like my suspicions were correct.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What's the significance of the blood in this case? It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusto, is as good as finding your blood lying next to the Mr. Frost's body. Why would there be traces of your blood there? Of all places, Mr. Gusto. If you won't answer her, Your Honor, Mr. Gusto, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from Gemini's case. There was traces of salt and sugar. There were. And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed.
Oh yeah. You're talking about what Miss Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again?
Did they ever? I've never tried ice so scrumptious in all my life.
Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite.
Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable. The salty bit. It's in no other photo you've got there. This bit, the hot thing. Gemini's liar. You can attach Phoenix to Jin and Kazuya's team, and they talk about if Phoenix might also be Mishima because of his hair. I say. The development team hoped to include Phoenix Wright and Francisca von Karma from Capcom Ace Attorney series, but while the latter uses a whip made her easy to incorporate, the team struggled to find an appropriate attack for Phoenix. That does make sense. Okay. Yes, the liar, and only the liar tasted as if it had been flavored with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. But then perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth, where did the salt from the liar come from? Could it be from a salt lamp?
Take that!
Just a guess. This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident. Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the liar its flavor came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma established that both the salt lamp were in Mr. Tankenroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost, and it was stained with his blood. But no corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tankenroa's room.
Right, because the culprit chucked a piece of chocolate with it on it into the little stream.
I like how sometimes you pause, and I can tell that you are doing the mental math meme of if you can make it to the end of the case tonight. Shh. Can my voice hold out versus this case must be over soon, divided by having to sleep soon, to the power of I started a bit late because of D&D. Since Phoenix doesn't move from his waist down in his original game environment, the team considered adding tires to his desk and having the entity move as a single character. This was abandoned due to potential collision issues. Aw, that's too bad.
Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere in Frost's room either. Ugh.
Hey, come on to think of it. Lamps were found in Delicia's room were both broken.
Lamps appear to be broken. Bulbs are smashed, both of them. Maybe fell and broke on the floor.
We never did figure out how one of them wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but are we thinking maybe it had Gusto's blood on it at some point?
Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police, so the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, and in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion. Are you seriously suggesting that the liar was used to do just that? I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the liar so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because, unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would needed more time to care for and test properly. And so he waited and waited for his chance to dispose of the liar undetected. Then, the reason he is here today is 18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. The possibility that the body was the incriminating evidence, or both, would resurface one day.
So, he comes 18 years later, sneaking in the bright and early, trying to cover his tracks.
Well, Mr. Gusto, are you finally ready to admit it? Are you the one responsible for the IS-7 incident? Mr. Gusto, it's all because of you that Samson...
Gusto. So I finally got caught, huh? All these years later. Nobody came close back then. Not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you.
You admit it then, that you murdered Audie Frost?
Sure I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame.
What do you mean by that? Alright, well, as Oscar remains. Yeah. Statute of limitations time. He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win, and whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed its true colors. Seriously, Frost, we had a deal. Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gusto. But I helped you. I spent all the days yesterday making ice for your pieces. Did you? And can you prove that, I suppose? Wait! You were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? After Frost double-crossed me, I had to make my piece for the final myself. And like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either. So much for the pride that you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts. Go ahead and judge. You have no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to become the best. Everything I take pride in, that is. Something someone like you could never understand. You're right, I don't understand. Do you take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder? Or that you abandoned your son?
Why would I want to understand someone who could do such a thing? Man can't afford to rely on other people. I learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you, he's none of my concern anymore. And according to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
And you don't care? You're horrible. So, with the disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yeah, I had to find another way to getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into the Tangaroa's room. I should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. But then Frost showed up. I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook, huh? Tut-tut-tut. Frost! What's this? A cure for taste disorders? Oh no, that's just too tragic. A confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say? If you tell anybody, I'll... You'll what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm. Why, you... Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him, knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it.
So, Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt.
When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of the blood somehow. So I scraped off all the bloodied bits. I dissolved those salt shavings in some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the harp. Okay, why did you put it on the harp, though? Whatever. And that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanished. Frost was gonna blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition.
So you decided you had to kill him?
Yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Why would you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes a solid case for self-defense, don't you think?
So that was the impetus behind it all.
Anyway, initially took the lamp to Frost's room. Went straight there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody parts. Inspired by the ice sculpting tool lying around the place, I guess. In the background, Alicia, holy shit, I accidentally committed a bit of cannibalism. Yep. You know what dummies you pretend to be. Yeah, figured I could use them to chip off then grind it up. Once it was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy.
But why Samson? Why did you have to frame him?
Hold it. I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. That was your fault. You and the rest of them. Why do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and the cloth back at Scone's room?
There's only one reason to plant a murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person. What? You tried to frame me, Gutsy Pants!
Yeah.
But why? Why poor old me?
I respected Tangaroa. He was the best, a true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did.
Oh, Gutsy, how could you?
And you had refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak into this corpse into Frost's room and freeze it. But thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it.
I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all?
Why indeed?
Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Gusto need to freeze Frost's body?
Time of death, I'm sure.
Mr. Gusto needed to freeze Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect.
Bingo! Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest of Tangaroa's room while I got everything ready in Frost's. Edgeworth channeling Katie. All I know is let this case end, please. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on the gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse.
I still don't get it, though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all?
The sooner it was found, the smaller the effect the freezing would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it at least until it's fully frozen.
How awful! Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder.
Ironically, Tangenro would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got out of his room. If only things hadn't gone to plan, he wouldn't have even been arrested, let alone convicted.
You mean it was all my fault? Everything that happened to Samson? It was all because I found the body.
Don't let him get inside your head, Judes. None of this is your fault.
You know what would be great? If someone suddenly dropped dead and this whole thing was set up for yet another crime. Oh, God. Inception cases continues.
If it wasn't for Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Gusto.
I didn't help the initial detective was so bad at his job either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished.
So then, Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tangenro under arrest in the absence of a body.
I mean, I guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a few reports, right?
Not if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though. Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tangenroa regardless. Can this really be true?
You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you.
Heh heh heh. Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones. What a jerk! Yeah, I ought to arrest you right now, pal.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, detective.
Heh 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 heh. So you noticed, huh? Glad somebody did. Judge is right. You can't lay a finger on me.
What? Why? You just confessed to murder.
Heh 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 heh. No idea, huh? Then I guess I better lay it out for you.
Yeah, statute of limitations and all that. Why you can't arrest me?
I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise?
That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years for murder because they're crazy. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth?
Nah. Once the statute is expired, he can't be charged, so...
But...
How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. Lady, why are you happy about this? I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusto's confession and your deductions will have be struck from the record, and that Mr. Tangenroa's convictions will remain in place. But we've finally proven that the police had never had Mr. Frost's body in the procession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusto, surely Mr. Tangenroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis. Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess of judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine. So, the committee means for a verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what.
I still find it wild that he was convicted of... So, he aided in the murder and got 18 years. Plus, obviously, he's still in jail.
Bad luck, prosecutor. There has to be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusto down.
Alright. I killed Frost 18 years ago. Yeah, we're aware. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. It sure is, but you left the country and apparently that somehow negates it. Verity isn't this isn't charming to be on the side of the system when you've seen proof that you're fucking wrong. Yeah. Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute may not have expired yet.
This ought to be good. Alright, I got nothing to hide. If there's something you want to ask, ask it.
Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident.
Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from the book. And not so long after that, I went to Zenfa, really buckled down and honed my craft. That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh? Could be. I left. Let's see. Around a year after the murder. It was before Tanganroa's last day in court. Going to Zenfa was the best thing I ever did. Flavor design, I'm all full package now.
Oh man, he just made a dog out of sugar. And all on the backs of those whose lives you've destroyed.
What is an omelet without a few eggs, Nothing but, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing.
You're evil!
Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me, and that's all that matters.
I need more to work with. There has to be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statement he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? His training in Zenfa, obviously. I'd like you to tell us more about your training in Zenfa, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine.
Later, I went to Zenfa and trained. I finally became the best in the world. Yeah, okay. So, bitch, you left. And you can't leave. That's the rule. So, fuck you. And let's bring this case home, bitches. Alright. The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, which means the time you spent abroad doesn't count towards the total time under the statute. He's like, oh shit, I fucked up.
No way! So it's like someone hit pause while he was in Zenfa? It appears there may be time left on the clock yet. But it will depend on how long you stayed in Zenfa, Mr. Gusto.
It was 3 years exactly.
3 years? Hold on, nobody said anything until I've done the math. The murder happened 18 years back. Statue is 15 years. Add 3 years overseas.
15 plus 3 makes 18 exactly, which means, no way! Mr. Edgeworth, you did it! The statue hasn't expired after all!
Well, about that. What?
Bingo, 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourselves.
He's just been stringing us along this whole time. God damn it!
Why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now.
Hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder.
Yeah, it turns out he knew that part. It's still very close to the end, though. If you say so.
Gusto stays in Zenfa really lasted 3 years on the nose. It's not enough. We're a few months short.
Not enough, but...
What did I tell you? You can't touch me.
Hate to admit it, but he's read the board well, and he made his confession. How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statue had been suspended for another year. Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Oh my god, Verity. I really like you and everything, but this is, like, going a little far, don't you think? And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed. No. There must be something I can do.
I knew it. If the law can't bring Mr. Gusto to justice, then...
Judes, what are you thinking?
This is actually a fun little part when you're not exhausted and wanting to rest, because we've seen the evidence that solves this. Objection! But you were distracted by the abroad part. Fair enough.
There's no need to go adding to your rap sheet just yet. We're not done here, far from it, because there's still a little way we can nail him.
There is?
Alright, Masterino, pep talk. I need you to think back over everything we know about this case. Gusto overlooked one critical thing you yourself were led to believe wrongly about. Which is, he wasn't there for Samson's last trial, remember? Best I could tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means there's still one way left for us. Crack open your statue of dummies there and take another look. 17 years ago, they really did a number on Samson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good use of that verdict now, we can make Gusto pay for what he's done.
Man, I forgot how fucking good Eddie is. Starts to clap. Bring Eddie and Verity back. I know, right? Statue is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Ah. Fair.
Fender, are you?
Those who would overturn a goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Samson's my client, Miles. I can't bring myself to use the source of his pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you.
It's right there the entire time. It's sneaky on the game's part. Makes sense.
Bringing Mr. Gusto to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play the card or not? I mean, obviously. Let's do it, bitches.
Yeah! We're working together with our dad to take down this asshole. This bad father who abandoned his son.
My father and Mr. Von Karma. One sought to reveal the truth, the other hid it. I know which path I choose to follow. The one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached a final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusto has been found not guilty on all counts.
Both dads.
No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Gusto is absolutely guilty, and I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished. Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest? I do. Now, show Judge Gavely something that proves the limitations hasn't expired yet. Take a look. Consider this piece of evidence, if you will. The court rules the evidence is inadmissible, on the grounds that it appears to be entirely irrelevant. What? Believe me, Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your frustration. It isn't easy giving up on a lost cause.
I will not give up. I will see justice done. Mr. Tangaro's last trial last year. I thought it did with a verdict that couldn't have been more wrong. That verdict may be the final... Oh, so it's not the book they want me... What, to show this? The case file?
Take that.
Okay. No? Is there a particular page you would like me to look at? The suspect data?
I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tanganaro was convicted as an accomplice. And it took around 1 year from his indictment for the verdict to be reached. Yes, that does seem to be the case. The book you gave us detailing certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as mentioned, is the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial.
What? Tangaro was convicted as an accomplice? Yep, guess you were in Zenfal when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as a main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you. Not good news either, am I right? But how could it be? Tangaro wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent, and you know it.
Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. And in a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free.
Yeah!
If you spent 3 years in Zenfa, and your accomplice Samson Tangenroa was on trial for 1 year, this means that you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired yet.
Nah.
The goddess of judgment is infallible, and that of her servants, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have been erred. But unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No! How could this be? You weren't supposed to be able to.
18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusto, and not a moment too soon.
Verity, my god, you bitch. You've flown that for like 5 parts. Yeah. Like, maybe the game is trying to imply that Verity did that on purpose, and she's known all of this all along, but also it's kind of like you've been fighting a little too hard for the side that is the bad side. Like, you know? But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything, even my son. More's the pity. But you can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. Oh my god, this is going. Come on, you can do it, guys. Yeah. Oh. Impressive. Oh, damn.
Mr. Guzzo's all set for his trip downtown, sir. Oh, good. I mean, it's your turn next, right?
I suppose so.
It's no fur coat dissolving into 100 foxes, but it's alright. I don't know if she's trying to be the most corrupt character in the series, or just trying to do as little paperwork as possible. Jews.
I'm so sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusto to justice at last.
I'm afraid that there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bown. But those actions were born of legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We all know that. So allow me to apologize in return on behalf of the prosecution.
Oh no, I have no one to blame but myself for all this, starting with those sculptures.
Hey, Judes, you think maybe you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. Yeah, do it, Fender. There's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything.
Aww.
Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Aww. Fender is pretty rad.
Sorry, ma'am. You gotta come with me now.
Of course.
You better not die at the end of this, Eddie. Judge Gavel, why did you lie to us?
Lie?
What are you talking about? You implied that there was no cause for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found. I am under no obligation to answer such questions. And you clearly have no intention of doing so either. Look, would I keep saying bring Eddie back if he survived to the end? Yes, you would. You would totally do that. Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the Committee of Prosecutor Excellence. Whoops, Freudian there, but you know what I mean. If you survive to the end. I just read that, yeah. As such, You give me a little choice but to report back your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the committee in due course.
Okay, is like Verity playing the lawn con or is she being blackmailed? It's got to be one of those two, right?
Now, I must be on my way.
Sure, report to Cloud Town. Anyways, the actual joke I was gonna go with is, you see, I haven't brought up Kay though.
What the heck? After you caught the real killer and everything? Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do?
Regardless of how it may play out, I will never regret what we accomplished here today.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth!
Yes?
Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job.
My job is to bring truth to the light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person.
I don't get it.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner.
That's going way over my head. I'm going home.
Okay, dude. There was like a glimmer of something there. Maybe he's gonna be an actual character soon. We'll see.
What was that about?
Eustace still has a lot to learn, is all.
Mousy Wowsy!
Yes.
Just wanted to say that old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. That's and thanks for helping poor Sammy Pool.
Of course.
Hey, Edgy. Looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, where did Judy and Verity go?
Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you?
Though I am loath to admit it, Larry's sketch did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that.
Quit with the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you.
Heh. You totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar, too.
He was.
Listen, I'm gonna head out. I need to fill Samson in on what went down today. You wanna come with?
Yes, of course.
Great! Then I'm coming too.
Okay. Let's go tell Samson that he is free.
So, what's Mr. Tangenroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him.
Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. That's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza was a thing for prisoners and guards alike.
Really? That sounds awesome. You think there will be any left for us to try?
Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been some of Mr. Tangenroa's baked goods?
Oh man, he old. Prison cookies.
Gummy, what are you doing here?
Heard you were all coming to see Mr. Tangenroa, so I volunteered to escort him.
Hello, my friends. I am Samson Tangenroa.
Miss Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
And I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday.
Heh. Very nice to meet you both.
Miles here is Gregory's son.
Is that so? Your father was very kind to me and fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession and...
Don't worry, Mr. Tangenroa. Mr. Fender has explained everything to me.
Sure did. And now we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago.
The truth? Are you telling me in this prison you got animal companions and free cake? From Master Baker, by the way. It sure seems like a nice prison. Captain, I only accept that because I know it hurt you as much as to say it as it hurt those of us to know it and hear it. Tangenroa, Judy did all that for me.
Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she finally figured out how to set you free. But What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you.
Oh, Judy, I never did anything to deserve such devotion.
Now, Mr. Tanganroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between you two has held strong for all these years, after all.
You think so?
I guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond between Tanganroa and Miss Bond? Is it the candy?
Take that!
Those chocolates, Trudy made them, didn't she?
Yes, she did. I always feel a little bit of like, oh no, what if I fuck up the sentimental present?
They're super delicious and sweet.
Miss Bound continued to make them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. So that's where there would always be something waiting for you when you finally came home.
Judy. I bet they're beyond sweet, then, aren't they?
Very much so, I'm afraid. I only wish that we could hand them to you.
Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later.
Aw. Which, to be clear, is a breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority to stop him anyway.
Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad.
Really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model.
You don't say. It seems like fate likes to bring people of all sorts together, huh?
I've done that once or twice. It feels bad.
You ain't in there, Samson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait 18 years to get justice.
Aw. Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather... Thank you. Truly.
Samson.
Well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. I'd better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie.
Leave it to me, big guy.
Aww. The IL-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but the case we'd inherited from my father is finally coming to a close.
Hey, Miles. Thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that.
Not at all. I simply made the call that felt right to me.
Huh? What are you guys talking about?
You know how Samson
was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend that he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his false convictions against him, even to save him? As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I can see it.
But now that Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned.
Yes, and I'm sure you will.
Wait a minute. Does that mean that even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have gotten away scot-free?
Yep. That's what we folks in the trade like to call legal contradiction. The law is far from perfect.
Because of things like legal contradictions, right?
Yeah, but you never know. Things might change. Law's always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Miles Sereno included, am I right?
Potential for growth and change in people and the law, huh?
So, Miles, are you gonna keep fighting the crime as a prosecutor, or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you got a big decision ahead of you. Only one you can answer.
I know. Well, spoiler alert, he continues to be a prosecutor, but... thanks for that. Verity burst to the wall. You shut your horn.
Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office one day.
And they'll play this song every time. Bum, 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 bum.
And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time. I always repay my debts, but for now...
Thanks again for today. I mean it.
Aww.
Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you?
He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me a chance to reckon with my father's final case. When I was a boy, all I ever dreamed was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during the time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the ways of a prosecutor instead. About here is when I got super paranoid Eddie was doomed to die. I mean, yeah. Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and my new way of to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is risk of being taken away from me. It may be time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. Oh my god, it's still going. Enter the co-law offices. To be completely clear, by the way, guys, I'm very much enjoying this case, and it's just the fact that I'm over an hour past when I should have stopped streaming. Okay.
Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late.
Aww.
It may have taken 18 years, but we finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence.
Yeah, it's not fun, huh?
All thanks to your boy Miles. I couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills.
It was like I was watching you.
Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were, but those guiding principles you try to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping.
Aww, that's so cute.
Your boy will be joining me in that soon. Am I gonna fight crime as a prosecutor or help as an attorney? What's the right answer? Which path should I choose? The end. Okay, friends, I need to stop here. But thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.